In this video today, we're going to talk about what I packed with me on a 7+ hour road trip with an 8-month-old adolescent puppy. So I have my bag right here that I packed, and we're just going to go through each thing and talk about it a little bit. So the first thing is a treat pouch full of yummy treats. Typically I train a lot if I'm at home or anything with puppy kibble, but for this road trip I brought along some high value treats because everything was new, everything was different. He'd never been on this long of a trip before, and I really wanted everything to go well and successfully. So in a separate Ziploc baggie, I had chopped up little pieces of cheese and I put it in here, and that's what we used for treats during this trip. The next thing was a leash. I packed a leash with me. I love these leather leashes that I get from Bridgeport Canine Equipment. The 6-foot leash, and it works great. As far as riding in the car, I know people have different varying levels of comfortability as far as what is safe for their dog, and that's great. I think generally speaking most people can agree on that a crate is the safest option, but that was not an option for us because our car was too small for a large enough crate to accommodate an 8-month-old standard golden doodle. So that wasn't an option for us. So instead we chose to use a seatbelt tether and a harness. He was already accustomed to riding in the car in this fashion, and I was in the back seat with him, so it wasn't like there was any, he was supervised, but also he was constrained by this harness and tether that way for safety, but also just so he's not just kind of getting and roaming around in the back seat, which can be pretty distracting for the driver. Let's talk about some toys that I brought. So this was a toy that he had not played with previously, so it was new and exciting, and he did play with it a little bit, but I brought more than just that. Also brought a con, and the night before I filled this with a sweet potato baby food, and then I put it in the freezer and let it freeze solid all overnight, and he ate this first thing when we got in the car in that morning starting our trip, because I didn't want it to melt and get everywhere. It was new, exciting, kind of what we call these are stuffed cons. If you're not familiar with that term, that's what it basically means. You stuff a con with something, and for longer lasting, you put it in the freezer so it freezes solid. And then the other toy that I brought along with me, I actually don't have it with me right now. It was a water buffalo horn, and that puppy adored that thing. He loved it. He chewed on it for probably like 5 hours of the 7 hours we were on the road. And because he actually didn't sleep a ton on that trip, I kind of hoped he would because that makes it really easy. But he didn't. He was awake for most of the trip, but he chewed on this water buffalo horn for most of the trip. I'm not joking when I say 5 hours-ish out of maybe the 7 hours we were on the road. He chewed on it a lot, and I was very glad I brought it because it was great entertainment for him. Also brought waste bags for cleanup, and I brought a collapsible bowl and bottled water. If I can grab it here. Bottled water. This made offering him drinks when we would stop nice and easy. I love this collapsible bowl. It's super. I like the fact that you can just basically fold it up and stick it in a pocket if you need to for hiking or whatever you're doing. It works great to just use it to fill up. Give him a drink, then dump out the water and shake it out, and it's practically dry at that point. Something I would recommend though, if you are going to use a bowl like this, it's so much different than a regular bowl, that you might want to get your puppy used to it before the trip. That was something I did not do with Afton, and he was a little hesitant. I don't think he drank as much as he normally would have if it would have been a regular bowl, but it still worked and it went well. So that is everything that I brought on this trip, as far as for him, and the trip went very smoothly. Like I said, he didn't really sleep much through the trip, but he was still plenty enjoyable to ride with because of the things I brought, and also because of prior training. He was 8 months old, so I had been training him ever since he was right around 10 weeks old, and so he's had a lot of training in things like relaxation and calmness, confinement training, crate training, just learning it's okay to be bored every once in a while. You don't always have to have something terribly exciting going on. All those things together, which are all topics that we talk about in our Puppy Bedrock course, if you'd like more information on that. I'll put a link in the description below this video. Those all things came together to make this trip really nice and enjoyable and very smooth on all areas. So if you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also consider sharing this anywhere else you think other puppy owners would find it helpful. Have a great day.